Business is one side of the story, but do you think your lifestyle actually changed because of business? Talking about everything when it comes to money, has actually money made you very superior? Has taking over the entire business changed your personal life as well? Well, these are a couple of traps that we don't see when we actually start our own business. What happens is that when we talk about business itself, there are a couple of things which take us and trap us in the entire mess and the process of it that we do not see the other side of the story as well. Watch this video because in this video, I'll be telling you a couple of traps that successful entrepreneurs get stuck in that they do not notice even in the future. Watch this video because this is going to give you a heads up towards all of these problems. I'm Varsha Renukumar. Welcome to the Freedom Business English channel. Do not forget to subscribe and download our Freedom app. Moving on to the traps that I was about to talk to you about, every entrepreneur has his or her way of dealing with things. But what we naturally don't see is that in the growth process, our behavior is actually different. In the initial, our behavior is different. And when it comes to the successful stage, I mean the money getting stage, changes everything. We would have noticed this in a lot of celebrities, we would have noticed this in a lot of known people right next to us, and we would have actually seen that side where we never expected of them. This is what money does to all of us. But there are still very good people who make sure that the behavior is still down to earth and know everything by placing each and every step with knowledge. And those are the people that we read in books and know and take them as idols till today. Because if you want to be that idol as well, and if you're still an entrepreneur budding to be a successful one, always remember that there are a couple of things that you have to notice in prior. Precaution is better than cure, guys. So always make sure that you are one step ahead of traps itself. The first trap that I'm going to talk to you guys about is lifestyle shift. We all know that generally, if we take a basic example of us being in school, the way we are and us shifting to college such as first PU, second PU, let it be 11th or 12th, and us shifting to degree and us shifting to MBA or anything or higher studies. We all have noticed the change in us, the shift in all of our behaviors. Our characters will change, our talking style and the way we are actually changes, including our lifestyle. It's the same when it comes to business as well. We all would have seen the struggling side of business if we have started the business from scratch or a franchise or anything. When we are in the initial stage, we are very scared of a lot of things. We always tend to be very overthinking and tend to have very less confidence. But in the growth state, we happen to have enough confidence that we do not believe people or do not take in other advices, rather than make sure whatever is happening, let it continue in the same process by just taking few considered advices. But do we do the same when we become very successful? Do we do the same thing? Because initially a tea seller can actually become a crorepati one day. You never know. We don't know how life might actually give us a twist and push us all the way to the top. But whatever happens, the lifestyle shift shouldn't happen. You have to make sure that there are basic changes according to the way you live, but the way your character is cannot change, because that is where an individual is actually identified. Make sure that whatever changes that you make shouldn't affect people around you and shouldn't affect whoever believes in you. Because as you grow, your attitude is carried on with you. Lifestyle and everything also depends on that. The way you are going about with things. Like usually as we tell and as we see that once people become successful, people tend to get lazy and start depending on the entire system which is already working on them, or start depending on the management. This is not a good entrepreneur sign. You have to stop getting into the trap of all of this and changing your behavior and turning out to be something very bossy or turning out to be someone who shows attitude. So we always have to make sure that we keep that in check. Next one is actually called as excess spending. I'm very sure once you become rich, everyone tends to become spend thefts and everything. But are you sure that you're keeping everything in check? Are you making sure that you have enough savings? I know that you're going to have a lot of commitments. You're going to make sure you have family side as well. And so many things that we couldn't explore when we were poor, we will make sure that we explore all of those things when we become rich. But are you sure that once you become rich, you're also seeing the balance side of the money itself? Are you making sure that everything is going on in the right way? Just because you become rich doesn't mean that you have to keep on making sure that you spend money. Just because you become successful doesn't mean that you keep on making excuses to give out money. You have to make sure that the way you came up actually shows the struggle towards money and you actually make use of them in the right way. For example, we have seen Sudhamurthy herself. The way that she explains and the way that she makes savings and the way that she uses money is entirely different from all the young generations like me thinking as well. For most of the young generation entrepreneurs who would actually hit success in a great margin would actually see this in a long-term basis as well. There are very few of them who actually think about savings, few of them who know that what to invest in and what not to. So being excessively spendtheft is not great. That's where you use your brain as an entrepreneur and make sure that whatever you're doing is actually of some meaning itself. Next one is bringing difference in your own kid. If you actually become a very successful entrepreneur and make sure that your kids don't see any of the struggles, don't see any of the pain, or don't see any of the hardship side of your entire life itself, let me tell you this, they are not the ones who's going to get spoiled, but their kids are the ones who's going to get spoiled. Your grandkids won't even know what is the difficulties being faced by them and what is the way to solve them because your kids themselves wouldn't know what to teach them. There is where you're going wrong and your entire, as an entrepreneur you would have succeeded, but as a family man you would have failed, and whatever you're producing, the knowledge you're giving to your kids is always shared to their kids as well. But if they themselves don't know how they've come up and what are the most struggle ways that you can get up with, they will not even know that once if your entire company goes down, what to do and how to get that up itself. So always make sure that you educate your kids the way you have been educated. Next one is trying to take advice or talking to random people. Let me tell you this, when you're actually in the growth stage of the business, we tend to not listen to wrong advices that easily, and we tend to think over and over when you're given an advice in a particular way. But when you become successful, our mind tends to go lazy a little and think that probably he or she actually means good to us. Are you actually sure that that person means good to you? Are you sure that he or she who's coming to tell you something is actually telling you the right way to run a business? Because you are the one who got your business this far. Nobody came and told you that you will have to do this step by step and teach you each and everything so that you came up this far. There are a couple of people who we call as mentors in our life, whom we cherish because they are the ones who are really, really wise, and everyone who teaches you things are not always wise people. So always make sure that you trust in the right ones, because right people know that they're giving you right suggestion and they will not actually think twice before giving you any advice because they want you to grow. Not everyone needs you to grow because they have to grow in their own way. Guys, this is a selfish world. At the end, everyone's going to think about themselves itself. That is where you got to think about yourself as well. Next and the most important thing is that trying to sell ethics for money. You would have come a long way. Successful entrepreneur is something which is very rare, and only people who have reached that heights know how much difficult it is to go till that stage. And when I'm telling about this, once you go there, selling your morals and ethics is not the best way to reach there. Once your reputation is damaged, everything falls apart. Each and every person who looks at you with the inspirational eye will look at you in the most treacherous way and think that you are the villain for the entire thing. Make sure that your morals and ethics are being followed for a long run, because those are what holds you up and above any day, anytime. You always have to hold this. Money can be earned any day. If you've gone that far, you can find many other ways to earn money. Just for money, you don't have to sell your morals or ethics itself. When I mostly say about morals and ethics, what I'm most specifically talking about here is that the shortcuts people use. Every time in most of my videos also, I've always told that do not use shortcut, guys. Because shortcuts only lead you to the faster way of earning money, but not the ethical way of earning money. Whatever you have earned fastly goes away fast as well. Whatever you get immediately goes away immediately. So make sure that whatever you do, you're understanding, going by each and every process step by step and analyzing the entire thing, then going and winning that victory is entirely different rather than just chasing it with a shortcut and then getting that victory. That is not even called a victory. Last but not the least is the most important thing. As we keep growing richer and as we keep growing older, has to differ. Also, when I say that do not sell your morals and ethics, the only best way that you can do this is by understanding that you, as the most successful entrepreneur, should stop learning and start teaching. Why am I saying this is because, of course, every day is a new learning. But are you ready to teach people who are eager to learn? That is where you are the most moralful person, because not everyone has the mindset of teaching. There are very rare people who teach. That is where you can be the star there and make so many people's life useful. That is where I keep telling that if you are the most successful entrepreneur, carry models with you, because you have to guide so many people go up the same way like you did. Next, last but not the least, is that health. Always remember, there are two different things when we say getting richer and richer, getting older and older. Older and older is by age factors, and the health declines over the period of time. But getting richer and richer and going down by health is something that we do not want to expect. Make sure that you keep your health in check, because once we go richer, you don't know, there are so many problems which come up to health. For example, we can notice when COVID actually initially hit us, there were so many rich people who could not do anything about it. So keeping health in check is also one of the most important things, because no matter how much money you have, health is the most important thing, and that is the biggest wealth that can help you and serve you throughout your life as well. And as I kept telling you about that, stop learning and start learning. This is one of the most simple things that we also do, as in for Freedom app itself. In our app, we actually teach about business and marketing itself. You can learn more and more of business all the way from scratch till the end by the live mentors telling you how they started their business and crossed the barriers of success itself. And next is, if you're more and more keen towards personal finances, also start learning, because we have courses even on personal finance. And moving on to the next thing is organic farming. If you're a person who's very interested in organic farming, also we have courses based on that. You can learn more and more in depth about all these courses. Do not forget to download our app, because this is going to give you a great knowledge when it comes to all of this, rather than putting you in the traps of what I just told. Thank you so much. Get wise and break free.